2020 was such a. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I've been around a long time and I've seen a lot of things. I've never seen anything ever like 2020 ever in my lifetime.
Aaron do not hang out with people his own age. You know that.
He never has.
People his own age just like little kids to him. You know, I ain't got no use for y'all.
Right. You know, I come pick it up when I get home. I got the keys with me because, you know, the Cadillac, you can take the keys out the car, it'll still be running, but once you turn it off, you ain't gonna be able to turn it back on, right? So I took the keys out the ignition and told him to just park it at the crib. Now, this is one of my close homeboys at the time. This is why I don't have any friends right now. I have 0 friends. So I gave him the car. He never run the car back. I went to work, I got off work. I'm like, where the car at? My brother got it. What? He gave the car to his brother, yo, believe. Why you making that face?
Your friends.
Yeah, it was my homeboy.
Listen, I could have stopped saying that. Stop saying that. Please. Say some dude that I had known. Stop saying friend. That's not your friend.
Yeah.
I can never give my car to Lil Chris and then expect it not to be there.
But then you got, when you lived on Sherman, you didn't have, I mean, the background of those people you was calling friends. Yeah. You know, you had murderers and thieves and gangbangers. You can't call them friends. Drug dealers. No, they ain't no friends.
You met them stealing.
What do you expect? They're drug dealers to you. It's just Steve to me.
Yeah.
You met them stealing.
Really, to me, respect is like different to everybody, and it depends on the person individually what you expect, right?
Right.
So
Well, it changes generation to generation, okay? Because
right.
when I was growing up, when I was small, respect meant this. If you had somebody that was an adult, you weren't allowed to call them by their first name. It was either Mr., Uncle, Auntie, and you could not call them a cousin. If you had a cousin that was an adult, they became your aunt or your uncle, just because they were an adult, out of respect for being an adult. So you could not call your cousin, grown cousin, a cousin. You just called them, this is my aunt or my uncle. So that was how I was raised as a young child. You never called an adult by their first name. It was
Hence
Mr.
Aunt Debbie. Hence Aunt Debbie.
Yeah. So it was either Mr. or Mrs. or, Miss, or, you didn't call your teacher, hey, Sam, what do you think about my homework? It was Mr. Sam or Mr. last name. It was your teachers went by their last name. So first name was different. So there's different levels of respect that kind of fades out after each generation. So we never put that law on you guys. I mean, we just said you respect your elders, but we never gave any specific demands, like you can't call them by their first name, or you can't say cousin or nothing like that. So, generation. So the reason why I thought it would be a good subject would be to find out, because the listeners out there, maybe there's some young people that have their idea of respect. And what is respect to you guys? What does it mean now? What does it mean today? Because for me, respect, there's only two ways to get respect. You earn it or you demand it. Period. You either earn respect or you demand respect. And there's two ways that you give respect. Either somebody has earned it or somebody has demanded, but there's another way, is that you just honored, you just like them, you just want to respect them. You can give respect three ways, but you can only get respect two ways. Demand or earn. But what I've seen in this generation, these younger kids, they don't know anything about the earning respect part. All they know about is the demanding respect. Like, you can't have a perfect stranger respect you. They don't know you. Why should they respect you? There's a difference between respect and being cordial, just being, kind and being, just out of being nice and just being, that's not necessarily respect. That's just being cordial. You don't just, like they say, don't step on my shoes and do this and that. That's not respect. That's just being cordial. Out of cordiality, you don't do that. But they're calling it respect. Like that's, and the definition, one of the definitions of respect is a quality or state of being esteemed. When you respect somebody, you esteem them, you put them on high regard, You know, that's what the respect means. So just because you won't step on somebody's shoes don't mean, you know, you respect them. That, you ain't putting them on highest esteem. You just saying, you know, out of cordiality, out of common sense, out of, you know, just being able to coexist with each other. There's certain boundaries that you don't cross, you know, but the demand is, you know, as always, all you hear is he disrespected me, or, you know, he didn't respect me. Well, that's not true. Why should he respect you? He don't even know you. You know, if I don't know you, why should I respect you? You haven't earned it, and you can't demand it because, you know, unless you're the police or something, you know, your police can demand some type of respect, or your employer can demand some type of respect, or your parents can demand. They don't have to. They shouldn't have to demand it from your parents because they should have earned it. If they haven't earned it, then, you know, that's why the Bible says respect your parents in the Lord. That doesn't mean all parents earn respect. You know, so that means respect your parents who have earned that respect in admission of the Lord, in admission of doing things God's way, trying to teach you how to be godly in that way. That way you honor and you respect what they do and what they say. So that's what I was wondering, like, what do these kids today, you know, what today is the, you know, how do you get respect? What is this thing called respect, you know, to the younger generation? Because most of them don't listen to adults that much because they don't have any respect for them. They just don't think they've earned it. They just don't think they have to give it. But, you know, if you've earned it, you know, I know I've earned respect, you know, with my children especially, because I brought them up, I taught you guys, you know, you didn't have to go and find me at a bar at night to come home and bring some money home to eat, you know. So I was there, you know, I was feeding y'all. I made sure you made it to adulthood in one piece, you know, both mentally, physically, and spiritually. So that's the earning of respect. Now, how do kids earn respect? They have to earn it based on what the parents qualify respect as, you know. So my question would be, what is respect to you guys? How do you earn it? What is it? Do you demand it, or do you think you should earn it, or what? And so also, it's the absence of God in today's society. It's the absence of Christ being taught and inbred, you know, because you don't have a lot of these kids don't have that conscience. They don't have a conscience. They don't have a spirit in them that says, you know, right from wrong. That's tells them that everybody else is wrong and they're right. You know, so it's a missing of God, and also a disrespect that the adults have done so much junk in the past couple 20, 30 years that it's hard to just automatically turn on that trust and respect, because because of social media, every time they turn around, they're hearing about the bad news about an adult, you know, doing this to their kids, or robbing or stealing or smoking or getting high with their families, or, you know, so, you know, it's not automatically earned anymore. And now, if you don't put God in the equation, it's not going to be there. You can't expect it, you know. So the first thing that somebody should find out, if they want to find out if they got to respect or not, is find out where they stand on the position of, have they accepted Christ. If they have not accepted Christ, then they're not going to have what's necessary, the tools necessary to be respectful, or to be honorable, or to be, you know, to have that into, you know, we might have taught Reggie about, you know, being respectful, but it's the God in Reggie that said, you know, I can't just let that lady just be pregnant and be behind me. You know, it's the God that's inside of him. It's the God that's inside Aaron that turns on sometimes when they know, you know, they might have the right. I got the right to I was here first. I have the right to be here. I got these, I have a right to be here, but because of what's in me, what I was taught and what is embedded. See, there's a combination that has to be there. So but if you ignore the presence of God in your life, you will do anything. You're subject to do anything. I was watching the movie. I watched it before a long time ago, but I watched it again yesterday called God Is Not Dead. That movie was really insightful because it let you see some of the philosophies that the atheists use about God not existing. But if God did not exist, then everything goes. If there's no God, then there's no rules, there's no laws, there's no anything. Everything goes. You cannot be accountable to anything. So you have to look at it not that's why the Bible says we don't fight against flesh and blood. We got to keep that in mind. It's not about the flesh and blood, but it's against principalities and powers and rulers of wickedness in high places that we are fighting against, that we have to go back to and say, why did I do that? Why did I say that? I know that wasn't right. Or why shouldn't I let that person go ahead of me? Why did I let that person do this? I do that all the time. I'm always when I go to the grocery store and somebody's in front of me and they start fumbling around looking for change in their purse, I automatically look at my wallet, see how much money I got. Maybe I can take care of it. If I can't take care of it, I can't take care of it. But if I got it, I'll make, because I've been there. I've been embarrassed, have to take stuff back, put stuff back on the conveyor belt and all that stuff. So, I know what that feeling is like. So the God that's in me now, because y'all don't know me. Y'all know your dad, but y'all don't know the person I was, beforehand. You would be, well, I ain't gonna start confessing nothing on air either, but y'all would be, well, I was not who I am today. But today is because of social media, because of television, the mind is being changed in these kids' minds of what to expect. How come you ain't got a Mercedes? How come you ain't, how come mom, how come you ain't got no diamonds on, or how come you ain't got this or that? I got friends at school, or I see this on TV. So they're putting a demand now on parents that was never there before because they never saw it. I grew up, I didn't know I was poor until I became old enough to get out on my own. And then I got out on my own and I found out, wait a minute, you mean y'all don't eat chopped meat? You mean y'all don't eat, fried bologna and have soup for lunch every day?
Yo, Pop. Yo, this is what's wild to me. I tell people all the time about chili. I didn't know chili was supposed to be thick.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
You were raised off of chili being watered down and spread it, and then that's just how you were raised to eat it. So that's how we ate it. And then when they kept giving us this thick paste called chili, I was thinking these people don't know how to cook.
Right.
Yeah,
It's
see,
all
I didn't know that it was a way of spreading it around. Yep. See, I didn't know because my mom has 6, 7 kids in the house. You know, so a bowl of chili had to last. So she would put all this water in it and stir it around till the meat and the beans is in there, and then scoop it out. You know, while you got the meat and the beans. I didn't know that. I just thought it was good. I'm like, hey, this is good. And then you just soak it up with crackers. Soak it up with crackers. You know, as a I didn't know.
You still eat your chili now with 800 pounds of crackers, because that's how you used to eat it.
Right. You know, I didn't know that the crackers were supposed to be on the side, just as a eating it on. I didn't know that it was one not supposed to see, because that's way that's what I learned. But
So
nowadays, if I had TV like they do now, kids they ain't gonna put up with that. They'll be like, "What the heck is this?" I just saw on the Food Network. You want to see the YouTube, Mom? How you supposed to make this stuff right here? So you can't get away with that stuff today, but back then you could.
Hey, that's how
I've been making that up.
No, that's how Aaron was last night when I was trying to cook salmon. Like, is that how you cook salmon? Let me look it up.
Yeah.
Let's see how long you supposed to cook this salmon for, man.
Yep. So there's a difference now that these kids today, but it's a better generation. It's gonna be a better generation, because of it. It's gonna be a better world because of it. But there's certain things that's gonna be lost, and there's certain things that's gonna be kept. But the main issue is that you have to learn you have to keep God in the mix. You have to keep God instilled into these kids, because they're not going to church like when I was growing up, Sunday you just know you went to church. I don't care what. I don't know. I didn't understand how my mom was doing a lot of things. I do now. I don't want to go back there, but back then she sent us to church with a nickel. How did she do that? I mean, how you do that? She ain't worked. She's on welfare. She gets all this. How could she afford to send 6 kids to church with a nickel? We never put it in church, but she was sending to us with that nickel every Sunday.
But y'all come home with a stomachache from candy.
We'd be just a chumping on the way home. Yeah, church was good. But so that's why I have all this. My mom didn't do everything perfect. I mean, she didn't do everything the way that it should have been. Now that I'm looking back as an older adult, but she was there every day. We ate every day, 2 or 3 meals, or 2 meals a day at least. We didn't eat breakfast because we didn't want to have to get up early for that. So she just let us sleep. But we ate, we had clothes. It might not have been what you wanted, but what she taught me was that, okay, if I ain't giving you what you want, then you better get out there and get a job and get it yourself. So that's how I was raised. If I wanted something, I learned how to get it my own self. And that don't help me today, because I'm selfish like that. I'm like, I don't need nobody. I could do this by myself. I can take care of myself. I don't need nobody doing nothing for me. I don't need, which is not good for my wife, because she's supposed to be there to help me. But I won't accept it, because I was raised that if you want something, you got to get it yourself, because my mom didn't have the means to do that. But how she came up with this money for lunch and, school lunches, they didn't have free lunch programs back then. She had to send us with a quarter every day for lunch. Where did she get that money from? I don't know. But she came up with it. So, she earned my respect, and I gave it to her all the way till she died. But that's just one of the things that I did, that I learned to do out of watching her suffer, trying to raise 6 kids on her own. There was never a dad in our house to help us do nothing. So, I could tell you stories about what she told me, but I ain't gonna go there either.
Okay, we're gonna have to say them for the movie too.
Yeah, but the respect thing, respect is it's more demanded today. Today, kids are demanding respect. People are demanding. I'll give you a perfect example. I could use Aaron, but I ain't gonna mention Aaron. But this person I know, You know, it ain't Aaron. I'm just saying that. This person I met, you know, he refused to wear red out of respect for these people that demanded it. They didn't earn it. They wasn't giving him none. All they said was, you bet not be out here wearing red. And that was over 25 years ago. And today, this person, I still ain't seen him with a red shirt on. So,
hey, I got a red hoodie.
But, you know, those are things that's happening today with these gangs, and these kids out here in the street are demanding respect more than they ain't got time to earn it. They don't have time to try to earn it, and they ain't got time to try to wait on nobody giving it to them. You know, They got a pistol and they got a pocket full of money. That's all the respect they need.
It's Are You Serious? This is Dad. This is DJ Double OG. Dad, what you got?
Okay, so I just want to say, when I die, I want to die peacefully in my sleep like my grandfather did. Not screaming in terror like the passengers who were in the car with him when he died. It's a minute.
Hey.
I would never buy a shoe called Satan. I don't even buy devil's food cakes because it got the name devil in it. I don't buy anything that say devil, Satan. I will not buy it. I don't care. I have never bought a devil's food cake. I ain't buying none of that stuff because it says devil. If it says devil, Satan, I'm done. I don't want to have no part of it. The Bible says give no place to the devil. And I believe that. I ain't giving him no place. But I got one thing that I can say. What do you call one black man being chased by 33 white men?
Sporting event?
The PGA Golf Tour, Tiger Woods.
I'm like, that should be a sporting event.
All right. Are you serious?
Oh, I gotta know. I gotta start with knowing. What do you call a black man that sells drugs?
Racist jokes.
All right. Why you got these racist?
You not like us?
That sell drugs.
A pharmacist?
A pharmacist. Ain't no racist about that.
I'm just
Because
saying,
there's people hardly ever think of a pharmacist. You know, they're a pharmacist.
Reggie would be the one to think of the answer to that one. Jeez. All right, you got any last words to get up out of here today? Are you serious? No.
Just leave me alone. Let me be. Leave me alone.
Y'all get your health insurance. Anybody out there ain't got no health insurance, get some health insurance. Life insurance. And life insurance.
Yeah, you heard her. You heard her.
Life insurance too, right?
Yep.
And AAA.
Don't be making people have a GoFundMe page just because you died. Yeah. Now somebody else got to GoFundMe to bury you. Nah, get some insurance while you're young. It's cheap, and you can get a lot of it.
Other news I wanted to talk about today. Now, this is really the news that nobody cares about section. I know you heard about this. Are you serious? I don't know if you heard about this. That Lil Nas X released some brand new shoes this week. Do you know who Lil Nas X is, Dad? Okay. So he's like a rapper. He made the song, what's the name of the song? Rodeo and Old Town Road. So I like Rodeo. And then he got another one too, Panini. That's my joint. So he got these songs, Panini.
Well, I just figured
Old
by
Town
the
Road.
name that he had to be a rapper. You know, he got three different dimensions of a name: Little, and then Nas, and then X. Which one are you?
Right. Well,
are you Little? Are you a Nas or are you an X?
He's none of the above, because Nas or DMX will probably be upset. But Lil Nas X, though, he's a famous rapper, but he's also famous for coming out as the first openly gay rapper to make hits.
He really confused it.
Yeah. I was waiting for that. So wait.
Say that.
So hold on, dude. It gets better.
And say you confused.
So this week we want to discuss friendship. And as we see, Are You Serious got his background.
My boys.
Dad got his background. And these my friends back here. These my homies. These my homies right there. I guess, when is the first time that you met somebody that you could remember and you was like, man, that's my homie, that's my friend? You know, like, I know school was probably the first time that I don't know that you can remember making friends, but let me ask you, Dad, because it's been a little longer for you.
Well, my first friend was actually my cousin. So they were relatives, because that was all that we knew. As when we grew up, you know, back in the 60s, early 60s, we were all growing up together. So the families, you know, were, you know, so, you know, Dwight's family, John's family, Junie's family, all of us grew up together. So we all hung out together. So we were our own friends. We didn't have any outside friends other than just the family. So, you know, but what I realized about picking my friends was it was usually based on them doing something to protect me. That's how they became my friends. Like Dwight, you know, I thought I was tough when I was in elementary school. When I was in the second grade, I thought I was tough. And so what I would do was there was this bully that was bullying everybody in the school. So, you know, I thought I was tough too. So I confronted him and told him, you know, I was telling him off, and, you know, started getting into a fight with him, and he was on top of me kicking my butt. And then Dwight came up behind me and just hit him in the back, got him up off of me. Ever since that, we was tight. I'm like, I'm taking him you gonna go everywhere with me, because you know, he was my friend. So that was my first instance of a friend. But then my everlasting friend after that was Daryl White. You know, when he first came to Minnesota, we went to Marshall Junior High, and we was in like 7th grade, I think. And so we had this teacher that was always picking on people. You know, he would front you up in the class and talk about you, get in your face. And so he was all up in my face, and you know, I was a little crybaby back then. I'm all crying, and then Daryl jumped up and started telling him off, saying, "Get out of his face! Why are you gonna go do this, do that, and that?" And I'm like, "Who is he?" And ever since then, we've been like that. That's been since 1968, 67. We've been friends ever since then. And that's my only friend after that. I haven't had any. I mean, we hung out with a whole lot of people back then, but that was my only friend. And the reason why I can say he's a friend, is that we didn't have to always agree, and we didn't have to always be together. You know, there was spaces in time where we didn't hang out at all for years. And that's because he was doing his thing and I was doing my thing, and they didn't mix. And so, you know, I was like, okay, you got to go your way. I got to go my way. You know, I got married and had, you know, kids, and stopped doing a lot of the stuff that he was doing. And so we went separate directions, but we never broke that chain of friendship. And so till today, he's still friends. We're still, you know, the only friends that we got, you know, basically. He'll tell you, so we're more than friends. That's why I got that's his family in my background. They became my family, you know.
That sounds familiar.
Their brothers, his brothers and sisters, who became, you know, like my brother. I mean, I was part of their family. They was part of my family. He was part of my family. So that's how friends usually become family, become a brother. You know, so just like a regular family, you don't have to be with them all the time, but they still your brother. You know, regardless of where they're at, regardless of what they're doing, you know, you might not agree, you might not want to do it, but they're still your family. So that's how I met Daryl. That's how we became friends, because I was like, even though I was bigger than everybody, I was like, I need somebody to talk for me, you know. So I didn't do a lot of talking, but Daryl was good at talking, you know. So we was good together. We went through a lot together. I mean,
Some things, I don't know if legally you can say everything, but
most of it ain't legal. But you know, we went through a lot. Junior high, high school. We both got kicked out of high school together. You know, spent a year out of high school. And, you know, then I decided, okay, I got to go back to school. And he went his way, and I went my way. So for a while there. So, but we were still friends, still brothers.
that's dope.
Or it don't even have to be the first date. Let's just hear a story that we probably don't know, that just really signifies you and your mom, your mom.
We never
You
dated.
and my mom's love.
Well, we never dated. That's the thing. Me and her never dated. You know, the first time we met, you know, I was at Daryl's house. She was at Daryl's house visiting cat. You know, she came in there and she was naive. Your mom was naive.
She just didn't know no better. But she came in there wearing nightgown, and breasts hanging all out. And so all of us guys was in there looking at her like, man, who is that? Who's that? And I was looking at her too. They were looking at her. So I told them, I'm like, man, I think I'm gonna marry that girl right there. She was looking good, but she was only like 14 years old at the time, and she was pregnant with Benita. And I'm like, so I didn't see her again for 2 years after that. And then I went, because I was in school, so I went to school, came back, I saw her about 2 years later, and I just found out where she lived, drove up to her house, drove up to the side of her house, hopped on, and said, hey, you want to go for a ride? And she said, yeah. I was like, oh.
That was easy.
And that's what we did. We went for a ride. I drove, because, I drove back then, I was smoking and doing all that stupid stuff. I riding around in my little red Cutlass. I always had a nice looking car, so I had my red Cutlass with the Krager mags on them. It was shining. And so we just rode around for a while she watched me smoke. And I don't even think we had too much of a conversation. We rode around for about a couple hours, and then I dropped her back off at home, and she gave me a kiss. The stalking was on.
You said the stalking was on.
I'm like, uh-oh. We gonna start the stalking now. So every day I was knowing where she was at. She probably didn't know I knew. Yeah. But,
she knew, because she always said, your dad chased me.
I don't think they called a date, but we ain't going nowhere. Chase was on for about 6 months. But I wasn't the type of person that would get jealous. I wasn't about to go fighting over this. You don't have to be with me or you ain't. So the other guys was that she was dating, and they see she in my car. I was selling weed back then too, so I would sell some of her friends weed. Just let them know, But I wasn't no fighting and all that. I was like, either you with me or you ain't.
But you let them know that she with you though. I ain't gonna fight you, but don't try me.
Yeah.
That's
wasn't gonna be no fighting. But I just let her know she with me. She ain't with you. She made the choice.
Yeah. So
we've been together ever since.
Yeah, that's a long time. Let me ask you this one question. What was it about? When was it? So I know you said that kiss had you, but is that the moment where you like, I'm in love? Or was it?
No, when I saw her in that negligee, I was in love. I thought I was in love. I just didn't have the opportunity to see her no more.
So you said, I seen that body and I was all good. Okay. That's funny.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing. She was belly all out big. She had her face just what I fell in love with, really. he was in bankruptcy more times than anybody can imagine. They don't look up that part. All they know is he got a building with a gold name on it that says Trump. So I must be able to listen to him because he knows something. He must know something. That's his name up there. That's his name on them gambling houses. So he must know something. And that's the illusion of respect. That's not respect. That's just people being admired. That's like being a movie star or something. But you don't elect somebody to be president of the United States based on that. That shows how foolish this country had become. Seriously. Because they based it on his business ethics that they had no idea about. Nobody looked up his tax records. Nobody didn't look up his financial background. They just voted for him. That's like we do. I mean, but that's not ignorant because we do it every day. As we go to work, we go to work at a job. They say, I'm going to pay you this much in 2 weeks. How many times have you checked the bank records of your job? How many times you make sure that check's going to bounce before you go to work? Before Friday comes, before you get that check. Well, nowadays they don't even give checks. They just direct deposit in your account, which is better. But, there was a time they'd just give you a check. And I know a lot of people that took them checks and they done bounced.
Check them cash balance sheets. That's what
you got to check cash flow. You don't check that. You just assume. You just assume. Oh well, they're hiring all these people, so they must have the money. So we do that all the time, but we just at different levels. That's why in business, I've taken a lot of ethics classes in business, and they all say the same thing. You don't do anything. If you're doing something, how would you feel if it was put in the newspaper and your mother saw it? How would you feel if your grandparents saw it or your children saw it? So if that's going to make you feel bad, then don't do it. That's a sign that that's something you should not do. And that's what they teach in ethics. Because there's a spirit of mammon in this world. That means they're chasing after that dollar. That's the idol. God is not the idol no more. The money is the idol. And but money is fake. Money is a piece of paper that could change overnight.
It ain't even paper no more.
They can change it, yeah, it can change overnight. They can make you rich one day and poor the next.
All right, Dad, man, do we got a dad joke? Because I do gotta go get my wife in the airport too.
All right, I got a quick one.
Okay.
All my jokes are I try to keep them clean and kind of like, I don't talk about family and stuff, so these are all clean. So after several dates, Jim invited Tina over to his house to cook for a home-cooked dinner. When she sat down at the table, she said that the dishes were the dirtiest that she had ever seen in her life. So she said, have these dishes ever been washed? Running her fingers, she, feeling the grit on the dishes. Said, have they ever been washed before? And Jim replied, yeah, they're as clean as soap and water can get them. What are you talking about? So she felt a little apprehensive, but she started eating, and it was really good, really delicious. And she said, so despite the dirty dishes, they were really good. And when dinner was over, Jim took the dishes outside and whistled and yelled, hey, here's soap, here water.
I already knew. I was like, hold on. She must have some dogs named Soap and Water.
That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Oh, that's nasty. All right, so we just learned different levels of respect, different perspectives of respect. We learned about a lot of stuff today. I look forward to doing this again next week.
Let's see. Yeah, I found one joke. Adam and Eve are wandering around the Garden of Eden, and they're just walking around and they wonder to themselves, are they black or are they white? So Eve says, well, why don't you go and ask God? So Adam goes into the Garden of Eden and shouts out to God, are we black or white? A big booming voice bellows below, you are what you are. And so Adam immediately goes back to Eve and tells her that they are white. And so Eve says, how do you know? How do you know? Asked Eve. He said, because God says, you are who you are, Adam replied. But why does that mean we are white? Asked Eve. And Adam said, because if we were black, he would have said, you is what you is.
Oh, the racism in that joke.
Man, who you telling?
Hey, but it's true.
I got a lot of
these.
There's a lot of racist jokes out here.
Oh, yeah.
You is what it is. It's so true and accurate. It's so sad. All right.
Here's another. You want to hear a racist one? Here's one.
Oh, Lord,
Yeah,
I
hold on,
don't.
wait
But I
on,
mean,
wait.
wait just a second. We don't want to get canceled. We just got the podcast.
Right.
How does a black girl tell her she's pregnant?
Nah, I don't like this one. I'm cool. I don't tap in with the black mama queens. Nope, I'm out. Only support black women. I walk around supporting black women all day, every day. That's what I do. Nope, I'm not a part of this one. I'm gonna look yonder.
Are you serious? So he done with this. All right, hey, are you serious? Do you got any oh, he for real left.
No, I'm here, but I'm just, you know.
Hey, do you got any facts we can take to work there?
Yeah,
Since you don't want
support black women.
You scared of the
Don't
jokes?
ever talk about black women. Don't you ever don't you do it. Don't even mess with it. As much as black women have saved our butts from time to time,
All right. I love y'all.
All right,
We
man.
out of here for the
Love
day.
you. Peace out.
See y'all
All right.
later. I'm gonna post it up.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, bye. Love you.
Love y'all.